guys ever want to go get coffee, if you ever want to just chat, like you can always like text me, DM me. If you need my number, just come up to me. If you find later, I don't care. But this is the story of how being comfortable in your faith and comparing your faith made me not want to be a Christian for 9 months. I did not want to be a Christian for 9 months, and how a single word was able to restore my faith. Okay? I'm taking these ones. So this is before COVID. And COVID, before I went to church twice a week, and I thought I was the best Christian I could ever be. I thought I was the best because I went to church on Wednesdays and I went to church on Sundays. And I was like, yeah, I love Jesus, and this is enough for me. I love him. Going to church twice a week is enough to sustain my love of God. And boy, was I wrong, but we'll figure that out in a few moments. And so I thought I was the best I could be because I also would look around and I would see all these people on my stories and on my Instagram posting about how they would go to all these parties and how they would like be doing drugs and vaping and how like they would be talking really bad about people on social media. But then I would like look at their bios and been like, John 3:16, Christian, or like they would have been like, church camp was awesome. And I was like, how dare you say you're a Christian but do all these things? To where I was comparing my faith to them, and I thought I was the baddest bee ever. I thought I was so good, and I was like, awesome. So I'm doing the bare minimum as being a Christian, and going to church twice a week was enough. And boy, was I wrong. Because a few weeks later, whenever I thought I was so awesome, a thing called COVID hit, and boy, did that really Chris Brown my faith, and it went down in 3 seconds. It went so down, and because my faith journey, me talking to God twice a week, was now gone. And because I was so comfortable with just going to church twice a week, I thought me saying, oh, I love Jesus, was enough to keep me sustained through all of quarantine, okay? I thought that was enough. Boy, was I wrong again. And because I wasn't disciplined to really go out and seek Jesus, I thought it was enough, and soon just me saying I love God was not enough. And I'm going to move this down because I can't see it all. Okay, sorry. And so it's probably not even 2 weeks into quarantine, and I'm looking around, and again I'm seeing all these people partying, doing drugs, vaping, talking about people. And so because I'm no longer digging into the book of the Bible, I'm no longer praying to God, I just put my faith into these Christian hands, okay? I put my faith into people and not God. And it really skewed my view of who God is. Because I no longer said, oh, God is this loving person, because that is what he tells me. I was looking at these Christians because this is what the news portrayed them to be. They just said, oh, Christians hate this group, Christians hate these people, Christians only believe this. And I said, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like hating people. To where I was just like, oh, if this is what Christians are, I'm not going to be that. So I decided that I was going to hide all my Bibles in my room, shove them in a closet. I threw away all my journals that I've ever did because I wanted to get rid of every Christian thing about me. Because I did not want someone to think that I hated people. And so we're keep going into quarantine. I no longer am a Christian. People are reaching out to me. I'm just ignoring them. I'm ignoring Emily. I'm ignoring Lauren. I'm ignoring Beth. Because I didn't want to talk to them. And I didn't want to say, yeah, I'm not a Christian anymore, because that would have given them a heart attack. Let me just say, Emily, dead, if I told her that. And so, my mom, she had cancer, and her immune system is not the best. To where I wasn't allowed to go anywhere other than my job, and I wasn't allowed to have anyone over. But my sister was allowed to have her boyfriend, but we're just not going to talk about that. And I thought, yeah, my dad's laughing, so he's like,
Get him.
so I thought that was really unfair, but that's whatever. And so here we are. I have no one, and I was just so upset, and I was so lonely. And I've only been lonely twice in my life. I was lonely in 8th going into 9th grade summer because I had just lost all my friends, and then I was lonely this time, 11th going into 12th. And the main difference between the two was I had Jesus whenever I was 8th going into 9th. I had Jesus to give all my problems to. And me being stubborn, I thought about this and I was like, I'm not going to claim that Jesus is mine because that's so selfish. So I did not become a Christian even though I thought about it. Well, I say become a Christian, but I didn't re-love him again. And so here I am, so lonely and so upset and no one to talk about my problems to. And so I became so suicidal. It was so bad because I was at my lowest moment because I had no one. And so one day it got really bad and I didn't want to get out of bed. I was just stuck and I said, ooh, today's the day. Okay, today's the day. And probably not even a minute passes and Beth texts me. She just said, hey, out of the blue, okay? I didn't talk to her previously. She just said, hey, I've been really thinking about you. How are you? I broke down crying because I was at my loneliest moment. No one was reaching out to me at this point because I was ignoring Emily, I was ignoring Lauren, I was ignoring all my friends. And she was the only one that reached out to me after me ignoring her. So I ignored God 24/7. I was just ignoring. And then finally he realized that I was at my last straw. He was like, ooh, she's about to lose it. And so she sent me a saving grace. Her name's Beth Martin. And after that, let's give her a round of applause. And so here we are. After that one text, God started making things happen. I didn't know God was making things happen until probably whenever I was writing this talk. I was like, "Ooh, God is good." And so she sends me this text, and then my mom gives me a necklace. Okay, and this necklace is really awesome because it says thanks. And some of you guys don't know this story, but for 6 years, I would write the word thanks on my wrist. And it was to remind me to give thanks to God even in my hardest moments. And so whenever my mom gave me this necklace, I didn't want to say, oh my gosh, I'm not a Christian anymore, but so I'm not going to wear it. I didn't want to do that to her because she was like, oh my gosh, this means so much to her. I'm going to give her this awesome gift. And one day I lost this necklace and I freaked out. It was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think my mom was going to kill me because my mom doesn't do that. She's just like, it was yours, it's not mine. So here I am throwing around things in my room. I'm wrecking my room. I wrecked the living room. I'm wrecking my car, trying to find this simple necklace. I'm actually wearing it. Just a little line that says thanks. And I even went to my dad and was like, maybe it fell down the drain. Can you please open it? And so he was like, no. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's in my car again. So I got out to my car and I slammed my door trying to find it. And then I just stopped. And I was like, I don't even like God right now. Why does this necklace matter? It's just remind me to give thanks in my hardest moment. But I'm at my lowest. I'm at my hardest. This sucks right now. Why do I need you? And so I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs in my car. My neighbors probably think I'm a loon. It's crazy. And so I was just like, I wrote thanks on my wrist for 6 years. Why does this word matter? Why do I care so much about giving thanks to someone I don't even believe in? And why do I care so much about these hard moments? These hard moments suck. And why should I be grateful for them? And so I started thinking, I was like, why do I even love you, dude? Why did I even love you for 6 solid years? And because of that one question, I hate the word why, and I hate the word no. And so if you say no, I will say why, and if you say why, I will research it. And I asked the question why, and I decided that I was going to look up why for 6 years I was such a devoted Christian. So my mom pulled me out of my train of thought because she did what moms always do. She found my necklace. And because they just find lost things, guys. It's crazy. And so And what's funny is I lost this necklace right before I went to church. And guess what? Guess what? This is really funny. Guess what we were talking about that day? Oh, yes, we were talking about thanks. And so it drove me insane. And after I lost my necklace, the church started to reopen. I was now allowed to get my Jesus once a week. And so instead of twice, because I didn't go on Sundays, I just went on Wednesdays. And I went because, 2 reasons. Because one, I thought it was habit. Because I was like, oh yes, ever since 6th grade, I went to church and that's how I fell in love with him. So that's what I need to do. I need to go to church on Wednesdays. So it was habit. And I also hated answering the question, why weren't you there last week? Hate that question. Hate it. Because again, if I were to tell any one of you leaders that I did not want to be a Christian, y'all would have been falling over dead. And so I'm going. Nothing is happening. And finally, I'm looking, and then I come across like some passages about thanks. And Emily actually told me about a story, and everyone knows the story about King David, right? How he was just like, oh, this girl looking nice. And then he messes up, and he screwed up big time. But this is something that I didn't know. He actually gave thanks. He gave thanks for Jesus being a loving God. So if you do that slide for me. Thank you. And it says, Psalms 101-5, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us not ourselves. We are his people and are sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures to all generations. His mercy is everlasting. I was so done. I got to the point where I don't say this lightly. I hated God. Because of him, I thought he turned his back on me to where I hated him. And I almost ended because I blamed him at the moment. But he was just like, no, I see so much in you. I love you so much that you're not going to end it today. And because of that, I have figured out why I love God so much. Is because although we will screw up, although we are always making mistakes, although we'll sometimes turn our back, he will always be there for you. You will be drowning in the water, but his hand will always be there. It is your choice to take it. And so I have one more little slide. And it says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. So this one relates to me so much because in the first part it says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. If you are comfortable in your faith, you are not loving knowledge because you are solid. You do not think that you need to branch out and really dive into his word. Maybe make more Christians. I don't know, do whatever. But if you are comfortable, you are wrong. And it says it right there. If you are comfortable, you are dang right stupid. Stupid. And so that's like what really hit me. I was like, dang, the Bible really just called me stupid. And if you are comfortable, again, you are wrong. I was so comfortable with going to my church twice a week. I was so comfortable with this. And sure enough, because I was comfortable, I was down. And I guess I'm going to leave you with this, is what is going to make you uncomfortable as a Christian? And if it makes you uncomfortable, why is it making you uncomfortable? Is reading a Bible verse once a day making you uncomfortable? If it makes you uncomfortable, clearly your heart is not in the right place to be worshiping God. Because if you love him so much, you should want to be praising him. If you love him so much, you should be wanting to dive in. Because you cannot get enough of God. Because God cannot get enough of you. And that's all I have to say. I'm going to pray. So bow your heads. Hey God, hey, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here today. Thank you so much for letting us be able to open our hearts and accept you as who you are. Thank you so much for giving us everlasting love and giving us such a gracious God to worship. I pray that, sorry, I ran into someone. I pray that we are able to open our hearts and really know that you are so loving and so gracious, and we thank you for that. Amen.
Amen.